President Biden, how involved were you in your son's Chinese shakedown text message? Were you sitting there? Were you involved?
No, I wasn't.
Were you?
No.
That was Joe Biden there shouting no at New York Post reporter Stephen Nelson. He was asking the president the million-dollar question, whether he was involved in Hunter Biden's business deals with China. That's because a testimony from IRS agent Gary Shapley implicates Joe Biden in a shakedown WhatsApp message exchange between Hunter and a Chinese businessman from energy company CEFC. If true, this would mean that the president has been lying when he claims he's never spoken to his son or been involved in any business deals that he's done overseas. But Gary Shapley's testimony to members of Congress reads out messages from Hunter Biden where he claims his father is sitting right with him. The testimony reads, "We obtained a July 30th, 2017 WhatsApp message from Hunter Biden to Henry Zhao, where Hunter Biden wrote, 'I'm sitting here with my father, and we would like to understand why the commitment made has not been fulfilled. Tell the director that I would like to resolve this now before it gets out of hand, and now means tonight. And Z, if I get a call or text from anyone involved in this other than you, Zhang, or the chairman, I will make certain that between the man sitting next to me and every person he knows and my ability to forever hold a grudge, that you will regret not following my direction. I'm sitting here waiting for the call with my father.' Communications like these made it clear we needed to search the guest house at Biden's Delaware residence where Hunter Biden stayed for a time. According to Miranda Devine, that text message was actually sent to Raymond Zhao, but Hunter mistook his name for another businessman involved in a previous deal. Raymond Zhao worked for CEFC and was also a translator and helped them with their work with the energy company on a deal that was reportedly worth millions. CEFC was linked to the Chinese Communist Party because it did deals with Xi Jinping's Belt and Road Initiative, which is the controversial infrastructure development strategy which has been operating for 10 years in 150 countries. In July last year, a voicemail was leaked by the Daily Mail that cast further doubt on Joe Biden's narrative that he's never even spoken to his son about his overseas business deals. Because this voicemail sees the now president calling Hunter to tell him he thinks he's clear in relation to a New York Times article about to drop, which would tie Hunter to CEFC chairman Ye Jianming, who was hoping to do deals with big Washington names, including the Bidens. Ye Jianming would subsequently go on to be arrested for suspicion of economic crimes.
Hey, pal, it's Dad. It's 8:15 on Wednesday night. If you get a chance, give me a call. Nothing urgent. Just want to talk to you. I thought the article, at least the thing online, it's going to be printed tomorrow in the Times, was good. I think it's clear. And anyway, if you get a chance, give me a call. I love it.
Joe Biden's statement of having nothing to do with his son's business deals has been called into question numerous times. After Gary Shapley reviewed those WhatsApp text messages where Hunter was trying to strong-arm a Chinese businessman by mentioning his father, the IRS agent wanted to know more. Mr. Shapley told Fox News' Brett Baer that his team requested to take investigative steps to figure out if Joe Biden was there with Hunter when he sent those threatening text messages.
We went back to the prosecutors and we requested to take various investigative steps, and they were not supported. And when they weren't supported, they said, well, maybe he wasn't co-located with him. So, well, we can take investigative steps to see if that happened, right. And they didn't support anything in relation to that effort. And it's consistent with their ongoing theme of not allowing us to pursue or ask questions about President Biden, the big guy.
Through emails found on Hunter Biden's laptop, Joe Biden could have been known as the big guy. The big guy would receive a 10% stake in a Chinese deal that Hunter was negotiating. Hunter Biden's former business partner, Tony Bobulinski, who was also involved in the CEFC deal, has claimed that Joe Biden is the big guy and acted as a chairman in the Biden family business deals. Gary Shapley told Fox News that within his investigation into Hunter Biden's taxes that he had been running since 2020, he and the other agents probing the president's son's crimes were not allowed to ask about the big guy.
That's kind of the crux of one of the issues here, is that we weren't allowed to ask questions about Dad. We weren't allowed to ask about the big guy. We weren't allowed to include certain names and document requests and search warrants. So, we were precluded from following that line of questioning.
The former supervisor on the IRS investigation said the normal process would be if a probe led to another individual, then agents would follow that lead to determine the whole picture. But there were hindrances that I've never seen before in my 14 years concerning this investigation that didn't allow us to follow through on investigation of any other individual, to include President Biden. This all comes as Hunter Biden last week made a plea deal with the Justice Department after a nearly 5-year investigation into whether he committed tax crimes, money laundering, and lying on a form in relation to the purchase of a firearm. Papers filed in a federal court in Delaware indicate that Hunter will plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax charges and will likely be on probation for 2 years and have to undertake various counselling and rehabilitation programs. But that agreement has been slammed by Republicans as a sweetheart plea deal and has prompted further accusations that under the Biden administration there is a 2-tiered justice system. Gary Shapley's testimony recounts that this investigation has been run with preferential treatment and always favoured the president's son. He disclosed to Congress that Delaware Attorney David Weiss said in a meeting that he wasn't going to be the guy to make the final call in what charges to make. That statement is a complete contradiction of Attorney General Merrick Garland's sworn testimony, which said David Weiss has complete authority over the end result. This isn't the truth in Gary Shapley's case. He says the charges he wanted to lay were off the table.
You know, the most substantive felony charges were left off the table.
Which would have been what?
Which would have been evasion for 14, false return for 18 in 2019.